You think you know what scares you, right? Jump scares, things that go bump in the night, maybe a good old-fashioned slasher. But what if the real heart of horror, the thing that truly gets under our skin, is something else entirely? What if the most terrifying monsters aren't the ones we can see, but the ones we can't even begin to understand? Today, we're going on a little trip. From the monsters we know and love, down into a horror that is chillingly, terrifyingly real.
So let's do it. Let's prepare to grapple with the ineffable. But to get there, we gotta start with what's familiar, the horror we can actually put a name to, and only then can we really descend into something much, much darker.
All right, first up, the monsters we know. We're starting in our comfort zone, the creatures we can name, classify, and, understand. As horror fans, this is what we do, right? We build these incredible, detailed systems around our favorite monsters. It's kind of our way of making sense of the chaos, of slapping a label on our fears.
I mean, just take zombies, for example. We're so obsessed with them that we've created entire tier systems for the apocalypse. You can see here how we scale it all up, from a contained regional mess like in The Sadness, all the way to a full-blown planet-is-done extinction event. And what's so fascinating isn't just the zombies themselves, it's our need to turn this absolute nightmare into an organized spreadsheet. It's all about control.
And oh man, do we get into the details. Look at the yawn from Resident Evil. To us, it's not just a big snake. No way. It's a T-virus-infected viper. It's got these specific uncoordinated mutations. It has mucus secretions for healing, and its venom is super enhanced. We devour these grotesque little facts like a biologist discovering a new species. And why? Because if you can know a monster, if you can define its every strength and weakness, well, then you feel like you stand a chance of beating it.
But our obsession, it goes way beyond just cataloging threats. It's not just about knowing how to kill the monster. For a lot of us, it turns into something deeper, something, well, more complicated. We don't just fear them, we actually come to love them.
So, the big question is, why? Why are we so drawn to the monsters? Why do we spend so much time not just analyzing them, but actively romanticizing them? And this isn't some new thing either. This goes all the way back to ancient myths and is all over modern fan fiction. The appeal is absolutely there. So what is going on?
Okay, here's the pivot. On one side, sure, the monster is a physical threat you have to fight. But on the other side, it's the ultimate other. And for anyone who's ever felt like an outsider, like you just don't fit in, there's a really strange kind of kinship there. We see our own feelings of being misunderstood reflected back at us. The attraction isn't despite the monstrosity, it's because of it.
And this is really the key. A monster, say a xenomorph, is so completely removed from our reality that it becomes this perfect, safe canvas. It's a space where we can explore our own anxieties, our own weird desires, without any of the judgment we get in the real world. In a way, we're safely poking at our own boundaries.
And sometimes, that exploration leads to something pretty profound. This quote, man, it just gets right to the heart of it. If a monster could be beautiful to someone, then I could be too. What's really happening here is we're exploring the idea that the parts of ourselves that we think are monstrous, our flaws, our insecurities, are maybe, just maybe, also worthy of love.
Okay, but not all horror can be neatly cataloged or even loved. Some horror actively fights against our understanding. And now we're entering a realm of fear where the monster isn't something we can define, it's something that defines the absolute limits of our own minds.
And H.P. Lovecraft, well, he was the absolute master of this. The horror here isn't a creature with fangs. It's the violation of a concept we completely take for granted, color. He describes it as something from outside, something so fundamentally alien that our basic senses, even our language, just start to break down trying to process it.
And every single attempt to describe it just makes things worse. It's like a cat and a bulldog and a human, all at once. The mind literally can't resolve those contradictions. Lovecraft's whole technique is designed to shatter your perception, to create this mental blank space where the real horror can live.
And this is where it all leads, to the unnameable. It's the final admission that our tools, our words, our senses, our entire brain are just not enough. The terror exists purely in that moment of failure, the failure of our minds to grasp what they're seeing.
And that, right there, is the core of the ineffable. The horror isn't what's written on the page. It's the giant, terrifying, empty space it creates inside your head. It's that chilling feeling that there are things in the universe so far beyond us that we can't even form the thoughts to contain them. It's a horror of pure,
cosmic insignificance.
But after all of that, what if the ultimate horror isn't the one we can't comprehend? What if it's the one we can? The kind of horror that we ourselves create, that we document, that we build systems around. We've been looking outward for monsters this whole time. Now, it's time to look in. And this is the final brutal turn. After grappling with all that cosmic, unreal stuff, this simple statement hits like a punch to the gut. Because some monsters don't come from beyond the stars. They don't come from a lab experiment gone wrong. They come from us.
You know, we spend all this time trying to name and classify fictional monsters, but just look at this timeline. Look how recently we, as a species, even started trying to legally name our own. The very concept of crimes against humanity is a modern invention for a truly ancient practice. It's our desperate attempt to put a label on the evil we're actually capable of.
And this is the most terrifying difference. See, unlike the unknowable chaos of some cosmic entity, our greatest horrors are meticulously planned. As you can see here, something as awful as wartime sexual violence isn't random. It's a calculated, organized tactic. There are systems, there are institutions, there are direct orders. This isn't madness from beyond. This is chillingly rational, systematic, human cruelty.
So, we arrive at this final, awful conclusion. We started with that ineffable cosmic horror, the monster from without. But maybe the real horror, the one that should actually keep us awake at night, is the systematic horror, the one that is so chillingly human, the one that's meticulously documented, the one that is rational. The horror that doesn't come from another dimension, but from the monster that lives inside all of us.
So I'll just leave you with this question. We started this journey with the monsters we love to break down and categorize. We talked about why we feel a kinship with them. And we ended with the atrocities that we ourselves commit. If horror fiction is, like some people say, the lie that tells the truth, what terrible truth are all these monsters, the fictional ones and the real ones, actually revealing about us?